If I could grow only one flower in my garden, it would have to look amazing, be easy to grow, help protect other plants, be edible, and once I planted it, I'd want to keep it going forever. It sounds a tall order, doesn't it? But there is one flower that fits the bill, an underrated champion that I consider to be one of the secret powerhouses behind my garden. So let me tell you why I consider this to be an absolutely essential part of any productive garden. Calendula, also known as pot marigold, boasts beauty by the bloom load. The yellow, orange or sometimes pastel-toned flowers deserve a place in any garden where they will offer a fantastic range of benefits. But first, let me show you the remarkable looking seeds that are our starting point. These have to be the prettiest seeds of all, don't they? They look like tiny little fossils, and being quite big, they're really easy to handle and sow. The easiest way to get your calendula started is to sow them directly where they are to grow, anytime from early to mid-spring. Now, they grow really well in most garden soils and are one of those rare flowers that actually does quite well in poor soil. The important thing isn't fertility so much as good drainage. Calendulas prefer sunshine, but will also grow quite well in dappled shade. I got my soil nicely zhuzhed up a bit there, and now I'm just going to take a little pinch of the seeds and just scatter them as thinly as I can over the surface like that. There we are. And then just tickle them in again and sort of pat them down so they've got good contact with the soil. Now, I would give them a water if it was dry, but it's been very wet, so I won't need to do that. But as they grow, I'll need to keep an eye on them and just water when it does get dry. And then the little seedlings, when they pop up, will be thinned to leave them about 25 centimetres or 10 inches apart in both directions. If you want to get a head start, say you have larger plants to set out later in spring, for example into pots or tubs or say into a greenhouse border, then you can sow calendula seeds into pots or plug trays. So just start by filling your plug tray or pot with just an all-purpose potting mix, and I've gently screened or sieved this to kind of remove any kind of lumpy bits, and then I'm just pressing it down nicely like that. There we are. And now let's get those lovely seeds in. And I'm going to use 2 seeds per plug, and they can always be thinned out, but I don't think that'll be necessary. They can grow on as they are. So 2 into each plug, and then I'll cover them over and we'll give them a good drink to get them on their way. I'm going to bring these guys indoors into the warm to germinate, just to get them going a little bit quicker. But as soon as they're up, they can come back out here because they're quite cold hardy. And then I'll just grow them on in here until they've filled out their plug trays and I can see roots coming out of the drainage holes, by which time it'll be mid to late spring and time to plant them outside. I always grow calendulas among my vegetables, and here's why. Calendulas are real bug magnets, attracting pollinating insects like bees that will go on to boost pollination rates of fruiting and podding crops, everything from beans to tomatoes. But wait, there's more. Calendula can also help to protect our plants by attracting in pest predators, the sorts that munch on common soft-bodied pests like aphids. Now, one study found that when calendula was grown with cabbages, there were far fewer problems with not just aphids, but caterpillars too. So I would say it's worth growing calendula among cabbage family crops like collards, cabbages, cauliflowers and broccoli. Research has also shown that calendula can help to deter pests from tomatoes as well. Think of calendula as a sort of insurance policy, guarding against calamitous pest invasions, not only by luring pests away, but by also attracting pest predators, so the likes of ladybugs or ladybirds, lacewings, hoverflies, that will then make a meal of those pests. How convenient. Let me show you this clever little feature of the garden planner. Now, if I select calendula here and then click the Show Companions button, what I've got now is all of the crops that studies have shown calendula helps. And this feature is available for lots of the plants in the garden planner. Calendula readily self-seeds as well, meaning that seeds that fall down onto the ground will bed down and then sprout and grow the following season. So in this way, calendula can behave a bit like a perennial, popping up in the same spot year after year and contributing those incredible vegetable garden benefits. You can also allow seeds to mature in the summer and then collect them to scatter elsewhere before lifting plants to the compost heap. These little guys here were sown last autumn and have been overwintering, but they're now a good size to plant. Run free, young calendula, run free. I'm going to plant them here at the edge of these beds so that they flop over onto the sides, onto the path, and then they will drop their seeds here and then self-seed for next year. Now, they really look stunning here. This is how I grow them most summers, and the effect is quite delicious. And I'm just going to do, as I did with the seeds, I said I was going to space them about 25 centimetres or 10 inches apart, and that should give them enough room to grow without kind of getting on top of each other. Probably get a couple on this side here. And I've got some left over, so I'm going to plant up this container here because calendula looks absolutely stunning on any terrace or balcony as well. And I can set them a little bit closer together in here because this is really lovely, rich potting mix. Well, they may not look like much now, but that will make a stunning display in just a couple of months' time. Calendula is such a useful plant. Not only can you use it to guard against pests, it also can be turned into a fantastic soothing balm, suitable for sort of raw, itchy or sunburned skins. It's even suitable for sensitive types of skins. I love the idea of making a nature-friendly remedy from ingredients grown right here in the garden. To make a soothing calendula oil, simply collect your flowers up and then dry them in the sun, on racks or in a dehydrator until they're nice and crispy. Now at this point you can then put them into a sealable jar and pour over olive oil to cover them up, and then seal it up and leave it somewhere to steep for about a month before straining out the petals to leave just that lovely soothing oil. And you can store that somewhere cool and dark. But the very best bit is that the petals are also edible with a slight peppery tang to them. Now you can steep them in teas, freeze them in ice cubes to perk up drinks, or scatter them over salads, perhaps with some nasturtium flowers too, for a stunning centerpiece to the dinner table. If you have used calendula flowers in your cooking or drinks, then do share how in the comments below. Like so many flowers, and indeed vegetables, the more you pick, the more you will get. So take the time just to pick off between your finger and thumb the old withered flowers. It only takes a moment, and this simple act will encourage so many more blooms right up to your first frost. But as summer does draw to a close, let some of those flowers mature to produce viable seeds to grow the next generation. Some of these will germinate before winter, some in spring, forming a carpet of tiny little seedlings that can be left to grow on as they are, carefully dug up and replanted elsewhere, or treated a bit like an impromptu cover crop or green manure to protect the soil over winter, ready for sowing or planting vegetables in spring. Calendula is just one of the many vegetable garden friendly flowers that you will find in our garden planner, and you can try it for free by taking advantage of our 7-day trial. Just follow the QR code or the link over here to get started. I'll catch you next time.